Okay, this last example with circles deals with when you're given 2 points on the circle, which more specifically the points of the diameter. So if we plot these points, we have -2, 5, and 4, -1. So we know that is a diameter of the circle, which means the center has to lie on that line exactly halfway in between. So to find the center, I'm going to just find the midpoint of those 2 points, which remember for midpoint we just average them out. So we add the x's together, so -2 plus 4, divide by 2, add the y's together, divide by 2. So for our x, get -2 plus 4 is 2, divided by 2 is 1. For the y's, get 1, 2. So we plot that point, not perfectly on my line, but we know that is the center of our circle. So now the other piece we need to write in the equation is the radius. Well, we know the radius is the distance from the center to an endpoint. So if we have our center at 1, 2, and endpoint, doesn't matter which one we choose. I'll use 4, -1. In order to find that distance, we can use our distance formula, which is just change in x squared plus change in y squared, and then add them up, take a square root. If you don't have that formula memorized, essentially all we're doing is creating a little right triangle here for ourselves and then doing the Pythagorean theorem. Notice the change in x, 4 minus 1, is going to be the distance between the x's. The change in y, -1 minus 3, in this case is also going to be 3. So you can also just draw a right triangle, count it out, and that'll give you what you need to find that distance. So in this case, we said it was 3 squared, which is 9, plus 3 squared, which is another 9. So we know our radius is root 18, which if we wanted to simplify, that would be 3 root 2, either way. So our final equation then for our circle will be x minus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared. And then remember, it equals the radius squared. So it's going to equal just that plain 18. If we had been plugging in that 3 root 2, keep in mind if we do 3 root 2 and square it, that square would go to both parts. So it would turn into 9 times 2, which gives us that 18 right back. So if we had our circle, if you wanted to draw it, you can draw it out. That was not a great circle at all, but you get the idea. So again, a lot of times with these problems, the end goal is getting the equation. Use the graph to help you get there.